Do you consistently follow through with your commitments? For example, creating the products and programs you want for your business, the new marketing strategy you want to implement, the self-paced training classes you signed up for, and most importantly, the people you meet at workshops and networking events that are potential clients. Stay tuned to learn how you can strengthen your follow-through and have more success in your business. Welcome to Transformational Messenger TV. I'm your host, Ron Kokia, and today we're going to address a very important skill called follow-through. Most of us are guilty of not completing a project we set out to do, or finish a book or self-paced training course we signed up for. Or most importantly, not following up with a potential client who's dying to learn more about what you do. Learning how to follow through can positively transform your business. And today we have a very special guest who will help us to strengthen our ability to follow through, starting with learning how to follow up with your prospective clients. Debbie Hoffman is an acclaimed coach, speaker, and creator of Power Up Your Follow-Up. She helps her clients become more confident and efficient with their follow-up, so they can double their bottom line results with the same number of leads. Debbie was a successful investment banker with 20 years experience as a managing director for Wall Street firms. Her extraordinary organization skills were instrumental in building solid business relationships, resulting in sales of over $25 billion. She also has extensive experience as a wellness industry entrepreneur, building a team of over 2,000 consultants. Debbie authored a new book highlighting her proven follow-up system, due out in late 2016. Hi Debbie, welcome to the show.
Oh, it's so great to be here, Ron.
Yeah, I love this topic called follow-up. I call it follow-through because I think follow-up is the starting point, because the follow-up is what will get you your clients, right? You know, we all go to the networking events and meet people on the street that are really interested in what we do, but sometimes we just don't follow through. I have a stack of business cards. I know in the past I wasn't the best at follow-ups. At one point I decided, well, you know what, it's time to follow up, but in a way it was a little too late because it was a couple months had passed and, you know, they may not have remembered me. So tell us a little bit more about this problem and why we struggle with following up.
You know what you said, Ron, I hear all the time that people say, oh, these cards have been sitting around too long, I can't follow up now. And I just want to let you know and your audience that yes, you can, because people really appreciate it when you follow up. So even if it's a month or 2 months later, you can call them and say, we met at such and such event. I know it's been a while. You know, if there's an elephant in the room, bring it up and just say, I know it's been a while, but I thought of you. And I'd love to schedule a time that we can get together so that we can get to know each other and see how we can support each other's businesses. People love it when they hear from you. I have some clients that told me that they heard from someone from 6 months earlier that thought of them, and it made them feel so good that this person thought of them. So this is just a story, which is one of many stories that we tell ourselves that stop us from following up.
Yeah, I think that is the case, because I think the problem that I have is I'm thinking, oh, this person's going to think, oh, I didn't follow up right away, and they're going to judge me. And I'm sure a lot of people have that.
Oh, so many people.
Yeah. I mean, how do you address that? How do you start to strengthen that muscle so that you can actually follow up right away? Or if you haven't, have the strength and, you know, the courage to just call them even though it's a month later.
I love how you use the term strengthen your muscles, because I use that all the time with my clients, because follow-up for most people is not a very strong muscle because they're not used to doing it. So it's just like when you go to the gym for the first time, your muscles might not be very strong, they're weak. And when you work out, sometimes they're a little sore at the beginning until you build up that muscle strength. And it's the same thing with follow-up. When you first start doing it, it can be a little uncomfortable and you can feel a little weird with it. But the more you do it, the more consistently you follow up with people, the more strong that muscle gets. And then it just becomes part of your routine. Yeah. Just like anything else that we do. We brush our teeth every day. We don't even think about it. My clients, when they start working with me and they have a system in place so they know what to do at every step, That's how their muscle grows and gets stronger. And so it's all about knowing what to do, when to do it, and how to do it. So it's systems. It's all about a blueprint.
I love that, systems. I was taking this course on willpower, and one of the things they said, and I mentioned in the previous episode, is that people don't fail, systems fail.
Yes, yes.
And so it's great that you actually have a system of follow up and follow through with clients. So I appreciate that.
When someone comes home from a networking event and they have those cards, when they follow up more quickly, obviously the person will remember you. You'll be more top of mind. So it is really important to follow up quickly, but if you don't, it's still okay to follow up. It's just you're going to have to remind them about your conversation and re-presence everything. So it's so important to take notes about the conversation you had with the person when you get home and enter it into your CRM, your customer relationship management system, with which most people don't have. And then when you call them, you can say, I remember we spoke about blah, 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 and it will really make them feel that you heard them and you listened. And they're so impressed with that because people are so used to being talked at, they're not used to being listened to, and they love it when people listen to them. It makes them feel special.
Yeah, that's true. I love that tip. And a lot of times, I do go home, it's like, oh, there's a lot of great prospective clients. And, week later passes and I just don't remember the conversation that we had. So actually taking the time, just 5 minutes to write down a little bit about who they are and what they're interested in about your business is a really good tip.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit of why you're so passionate about helping people to follow up.
Well, I'm so passionate about this, Ron, because I see so many entrepreneurs who are struggling to build their businesses and they have such incredible gifts. And they have a big message to share, and they want to make an impact on the world, but they don't have the business skills. They don't know how to do it. And so many people just don't know what they don't know about follow-up and about building a business. So it breaks my heart because so many people they quit because they have to make money and they have to go back to a job. So that's one part of it. The other part of it is I want families to be together. I want parents to be able to be home and raise their kids. I was able to do that with my son. When he was 8 or 9, I left Wall Street. I couldn't do it anymore. I wanted to be home with him. I was traveling and I wanted to be part of his life. And because I was able to become a successful entrepreneur working from home, I was able to be at all of his baseball games. I was totally a part of his life. And I feel it made such a difference for him having his parents home to support him and to be there for him. So there's two parts to why I'm so passionate.
Yeah.
So when I help people to be more confident and efficient with their follow-up and coach them in the systems and what to do and how to do it and when to do it, and they can share their gifts and get their message out in a bigger way, they're going to make a huge impact and they're going to create more income for their business and they'll be able to stay at home and be with their kids, or if they don't have kids, they can just have more freedom to do the things that they love to do. So that's really what drives me, and it's my mission to make that big difference in people's lives with their businesses.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, the happier people are at home, the better they do in their business too.
For sure.
They're more relaxed, more confident, more balanced.
Yeah.
So we're talking a lot about follow-up, but I really wanted to frame this as follow-through because I think that this muscle that we're talking about is really important in other aspects of our business, because a lot of times we make promises to ourselves.
Yes.
Like the new year comes and we decide, well, we're going to make a big change in our business. We're going to streamline these processes, or we're going to start marketing this or creating a new product. And we never follow up with ourselves. And what is stopping people from committing to themselves when they easily can commit to somebody's workshop and get everything done, all the submittals, be there, but they can't follow through with their own projects or even potential clients? So what is that that's missing?
It's not so much what's missing. What I think is really happening are these stories that come up that we tell ourselves. It's like this inner voice, this constant chatter. You're not good enough. Are you going to provide value? Are people going to pay for what you're offering? All these stories come up and these limiting beliefs come up. The fear of rejection is so huge. I think that's the biggest thing. So if they follow through with their commitment to create their program or their package or their workshop, what if it's not good enough. That people are perfectionists, and I always recommend people take imperfect action. Just go and do it, and let the chips fall where they may. So it's these stories, it's these inner voices that stop people from following through with their own personal commitments to themselves, and with following up with their potential clients and with their existing clients. This, to me, Ron, is the most challenging part of running a business and being an entrepreneur, because these things come up all the time.
Yeah. And one difference that I noticed being an entrepreneur versus being an employee is, especially if you're a coach, is your product is not some external thing. It's you.
It's you, yes.
And so being able to represent that and be confident with that means that you have stories that support you, or you don't have stories that are holding you back, telling you you're not good enough. So that's very powerful.
I actually experienced this because when I first started my business, it was no longer me, representing a company that had products. It was me representing me. And so you're sticking your neck out and putting yourself out there. And what if people don't appreciate what you offer, if they don't see the value in what you offer, if they're not willing to pay what you want them to invest? So those things come up so much more when you're representing yourself than when you're working for a company.
Yeah. So how do we start? Where's the starting point for this?
Well, the starting point, I really believe, is being aware of those inner voices and what's happening inside. And, we all have that little girl or little boy inside of us that got hurt early on, that got rejected, that was told maybe that we weren't good enough. So everyone has something that happened when they were a kid. And so I really believe that that little child inside is just trying to protect us from getting hurt again.
Yeah.
And so if that comes up, you can really just have a conversation with that little girl, little boy, and just say, you know what? I've got your back. You're safe. You're good. We're going to be fine. And I'm going to take action anyway. And so really being aware of the conversation that's going on inside, because we're all doing this constantly all day long. There's that inner chatter that's going on.
Yeah.
And then just take the action, and you'll feel so empowered, because when you do it, it's like, oh, that wasn't so bad. It's all the anticipation of it that makes it seem so scary. But when you finally take the action and make that call, you realize, wow, I just got this great reaction from this person. What was that all about? And so again, it's back to building that muscle. The more you do it, the more you plow through those fears that come up, or that insecurity, or that uncomfortable feeling. The more you plow through that and take action after action after action, it will just become second nature. And you won't even have those things come up over time. So it's a journey. It takes time.
Yeah, it does take time. So being aware is really important,
Yeah.
It sounds like. How do you help your clients to become more aware of these, the way that they talk to themselves?
Well, just to tune in, because the voices come up, and if they did make a commitment to do something and they find themselves stopping and not doing it, then to start having that conversation with themselves, what's going on here? Because it's usually very deep, and sometimes they're not even aware of what's going on. These inner voices and this inner dialogue just kind of takes over us.
Yeah.
So being aware of it and just checking in, it's like, okay, what's coming up for me now? Just stopping, closing your eyes, taking a few deep breaths, and just asking, okay, what's going on here? Why am I feeling this? So being tuned into your body is really important.
Yeah.
And what are you feeling in that moment? Sometimes it hits people in their heart. Some people get a stiff neck. Everyone reacts differently to this stress and this fear that comes up.
Yes.
So just being aware, tune in, stop, relax, close your eyes, breathe, and ask yourself, why am I not doing this? Why am I letting this fear get in the way? Figuring out what the fear is first, and then you just like Nike says, just do it. At some point, you just have to take the action, even if you feel uncomfortable. Because fear is the only thing that gets smaller as you get closer to it.
I love that. Fear gets smaller the closer you get to it.
So
we think it's this big thing, but then when we start to take little actions, and we get closer, we're like, whoa, it's just this little fear.
Exactly. We make it so much bigger than it is.
Powerful. Very, very powerful. And I like what you say about awareness, because a lot of times we will just dismiss something, or we'll avoid something, but really learning to face that, and seeing that it's a choice point in your life.
It is.
That these business cards aren't just, I got some business cards, I can get to them whenever. Right. It's these are choices. Do I really want to grow my business?
Right.
Okay, why am I not calling this person? And just tuning in like you said, to your body.
Yeah.
And instead of thinking about, I don't want to do it, understand those feelings, understand those stories, and then make those little steps that will make fear smaller.
Exactly. Another thing that's really important is, as an entrepreneur, for us to be really in tune with our why. Like, why are we doing this business? Get really, really clear and actually have it posted in our office or wherever we work, wherever we're making those phone calls. And so if that fear comes up or whatever it is that stops us, we can look on the wall and read our why and re-presence it. And then decide, okay, am I going to let this thing, whatever it is, this story, this limiting belief stop me?
Mm-hmm.
Or is this why more important than anything? And I'm just going to go for it and make it happen no matter what. Because everyone has, I see this happen all the time. People do programs, they do workshops, and they have all these great intentions, and then they never do anything with the information. Like, something stops them from following through with implementing what they've learned. And they keep going from event to workshop to workshop to workshop, and they're like running after something, but their businesses aren't growing because they've got these fears and limiting beliefs that are stopping them. So it's so important to get to be in touch with those things, to be really present in the moment, to be aware of what's coming up, and then make a choice. Like you said, it's a decision. I'm going to take action anyway. And like I said, the more you do it, the more comfortable you get, and the more results and success you get, and success breeds success, and you keep I have clients that love making follow-up calls now. They hated it before, they were scared. And I just spoke to a client recently. She says, I love following up, Debbie, because I'm so prepared now. I know what I'm going to say. I set an intention. I'm not attached to my agenda or to the results, but I set an intention, which is so powerful. I always talk with my clients about setting intention before anything that they do. And so she's making these calls now. She's having so much fun. She has her script, so she knows what she's going to say. And she's getting more clients, and her business is growing. And she's like giddy. She was giddy on the phone with me with laughter. Like, I love following up. So it's like so cool to hear that. Like, it really makes me feel so good that she's gotten over that fear.
That's powerful and very inspirational, because I know a lot of you are here because you have a gift and you want to be able to share that gift. And so following up is that opportunity to really make a difference in someone's life.
It's all about making a difference.
Yeah.
For me, I always talk about building relationships and providing value, and that's what we're here for, always, to build a relationship and to provide value to people. Get curious, find out what they need, find out what's not working in their lives, and see if you have a solution for them, if it's a good fit or not. And it isn't always a good fit.
Yeah, and that's another thing. It's about perspective as well.
Yeah.
So actually looking at it as an opportunity to see if there's a fit and how I can serve this person. And what I found is the more I do that, the more I can tune into how I can better serve other people. So even if a client wasn't the perfect client and it wasn't a yes in the sales, I learned so much from it of who am I here to really serve, and maybe how can I better serve someone like that if I wanted to serve like someone like that. So it's just this constant feedback and growth and opportunity for transformation. So love it, very powerful. And earlier you said, and I don't want to just let this go, is that having that why, having something powerful enough that pulls you forward.
Yeah.
Because your fears are only as big in comparison to the reason why. And if the reason why is bigger, those fears become so tiny.
Yeah.
Because your why is pulling you stronger than your fears are pushing you back.
Right.
And it becomes almost effortless.
It's very true.
Yeah. Powerful. Very, very, very powerful.
It is.
So tell us a little bit about this upcoming book that you have.
Well, I'm going to be putting together all of my follow-up skills and techniques and philosophy around follow-up and creating this book, which I'm hoping will be done by the end of this year, 2016. It might be pushed into early 2017. But people have been asking me to write a book. And so it's really important for the world to have this information. And for me, follow-up, I don't teach and coach people in the old model of push, 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 sell, sell, sell. That is so not working in today's world. People want to be approached in a way where they're being served and that people care about them. So my whole philosophy around follow-up is finding about people's needs, uncovering how we can help them, being curious, asking powerful questions, and helping them get the results they need. Again, not pushing our agenda, but finding out how we can serve them. So I really want to get this out to the world because that old model is just it's so not working in today's age, and people are so tired of it, and they're loving this new approach. My clients are just feeling so comfortable because most of the reason why people don't follow up is they think they're being pushy or salesy or being too aggressive. And if you approach people with the attitude of wanting to serve them, that will never come up and they'll never feel that way. So I want to get this out as soon as possible.
Sounds very powerful. I love it. Love it. So do you also have a free gift that you created for our audience?
I did. I created a report, and it's called 4 Hot Tips to Power Up Your Follow-Up. And in this report, you'll have some tips that you can implement right away to grow your business. And also, people will receive a weekly follow-up tip in their inbox, and it's really fun. There's pictures of kids, so when you open up this email, it's like fun and it's cute. And I'm trying to make follow-up fun because for so many people, follow-up can be scary or overwhelming, or just these things, the stuff comes up that we've been talking about. So I'm trying to make it super fun and give a quick tip and keep follow-up top of mind for people on a weekly basis. So it's been really helpful for a lot of my clients, and
I love that.
People are receiving the emails.
Make it fun.
Yeah, it's all about fun.
You know, one thing that I learned from you or noticed from you is I met you at a workshop, and I meet people all over the place in different workshops, and I get business cards and people say they're going to follow up with me, and a lot of times they don't, but you followed up the next day. And what that did was made me think, wow, Debbie's someone I can trust. Debbie's reliable. Debbie is, consistent and follows through with what she promises. Because you said you'd introduced me to your nephew, who's a filmmaker, and we ended up talking to.
Yes.
And it just made me think of you as you really do your work. You really follow through with what you preach. And I really appreciate that. And if you want to shine and stand out, because you get a lot of business cards from people, and a lot of times they don't call you, but you remember those people that do, you might want to be one of those persons. And Debbie can help you in a way that can be fun and exciting.
Yeah. You mentioned something really interesting, because there's a statistic that I want to share here because it's so powerful. 48% of entrepreneurs never even follow up with a prospect. They don't even make that first call. So what you were saying, that I called you, most people aren't calling, right? Like how many calls do you get from people? Most people don't call. So when you are one of those 48% that do call, you're gonna become more in that person's awareness, because it's not like they're getting 10, 20 calls a day and you're gonna get, mixed in with the rest of those people. It's like you're gonna rise above your competition because no one else is making the calls. So they're gonna feel exactly how you felt, and I'm so happy to hear that, because that's what I talk to my clients about. When you make that call and follow up, people are going to go, wow, well, if I do business with her, I can rely on her because she's going to do what she says she's going to do. That's really what it's all about.
Exactly.
Being your word is really big. It's a big thing for me.
It's trust.
Trust.
Yeah. Beautiful. Well, I love how you shared how, what's happening to us when we're not able to follow through, and how we can start to make some changes in our lives. Are there any solid tips that you can give people that they can actually do this week, so that they can start to build that muscle?
I would love to share a tip with the audience. So what you can do this week, I'm sure a lot of you have business cards that are piling up on your desk that you haven't done anything with. So what you can do, just take little baby steps, because I know so many people are overwhelmed with what they're going to do with all these cards. So what you can do is, if you don't have a customer relationship management system, a CRM in place, get an Excel spreadsheet and just enter one card, one person at a time, and call them. Enter the next person into the spreadsheet and then call them. And then set reminders to call them back 2 or 3 days later, so they don't go out of existence. And if you have a CRM, and there's lots out there, and we can talk more about that one-on-one, you can reach out to me through the free report and send me an email. We can have a conversation about CRMs because there's so many out there. But you want to choose one that's easy to use, that serves your needs. And you put the contacts in, you put notes in, and you can actually set reminders, like an email reminder or a text reminder, to go out to you to remind you for the next step. Because what I find is my clients who don't have this, when they come to me, when they don't have a CRM, they're just not continually making the calls. They'll make one call and then stop. So if you have a system in place that continually reminds you for the next step, these people won't fall out of existence and a deeper relationship will be created. Because one of the things, Ron, that's so key that people don't realize is when you continue to follow up with people, that's how the connection is deepened. Because when you first meet someone, a relationship is initiated.
Yes.
But follow-up is how that connection is nurtured step by step. So the more you're following up with people, the deeper your connection and the relationship develops, and then that trust and rapport, of course, comes from that.
I love that. And that's such a key point, is that consistency. And we're all in this transformational space, and the key to transformation is consistency.
Yeah.
And continually taking that action, and that is going to change the way that you feel about yourself and what you're doing. And so very, very powerful systems help make that easier.
Yes, definitely.
Instead of like, oh my God, who do I have to call? The system in your head is amazing, but it doesn't do well with remembering names and when to call them and so forth. So great tip. Great tip.
Thank you. Actually, this is a funny story. I asked a woman who I was doing a free consultation with, so, how do you follow up with people? What's your system? And she said her system is when she's driving and this person pops into her head, she gets to the next location and she calls them. And it's like, oh my God, that's not a good system. And the more people you have to follow up with, the harder it's going to be to keep track of all these people in your brain. You can't do it. So you have to have some kind of a system in place to help you stay on track. And that's where the CRM comes into play.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. I also have a tip to extend this with the audience, is that if you find yourself not following up, to actually go back and sit with that and find out what that emotion is, like Debbie talked about. What's that story? And give yourself the opportunity to hear what you're saying to yourself, so you can address that little boy or little girl inside of you and start to take steps forward as a unified, whole person, instead of a divided, I'm not sure, this part of me doesn't want to do this and this part of me does. So a big part of it is also, finding and being aware of those emotions.
Definitely.
Yeah, beautiful. So go ahead and share that website where they can get your free gift.
Sure. The link to receive the free report is powerupyourfollowup.com/free report. powerupyourfollowup.com/free report.
Well, thank you, Debbie, for being on this show. What I loved about our conversation is you made it sound easy. Like, we make this such a big deal and we torture ourselves when we don't do it. We're like disappointed with the business cards and the projects that we don't do. But it doesn't have to be that way.
No, it doesn't.
It can be fun, like your clients have, expressed and love it so much. So please, if you're really interested in building that muscle, go check out Debbie's free gift and start that journey of learning how to follow up. It was an enlightening conversation today, Debbie. Thank you so much for your energy, your presence, and all the wisdom you shared. And for you messengers out there, I would love for you to shine your light in a bigger way. And one way you can do that is by really connecting with those people that you have met that really want to see your light and you have your presence in their life, so that you can help to transform them and serve them in a very powerful way. So until next time, keep shining your light, because the world needs it. Bye-bye for now.